episode 5 of BT IndieCast, we have Josh Martin in the studio. A Floyd County native, Josh now lives in Nashville, but is back with us this weekend for a very special headlining concert at the Mountain Arts Center. Stick with us while we get a peek behind the curtain of the Nashville songwriting scene and much more on BT IndieCast. Great. All right, welcome to BT IndieCast episode 5. Today I got at TubeFi Studios Mr. Josh Martin. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing great. How are you, Tony?
I'm doing good. Glad to see you down here.
Oh, it's always a pleasure getting to come back to Appalachia.
Got a special weekend, right?
Very special weekend.
Yeah, so that's what we will talk about. I appreciate you making time. I know I saw you on the radio, or saw you on the radio. Can you say that?
I saw you on Facebook.
I saw you on Facebook. Doing some stuff, so you've been out just doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yep.
That's good. It's good to have friends at all the stations and, the MAC and everywhere to get you down here.
Very helpful.
Yeah. So that's going to be good. Looking forward to this weekend. You, of course, Floyd County native, right?
Yep.
Big musical background. We know each other, me and Josh. We go way back kind of scenario, so I'm asking like the obvious questions, but you musical family, that kind of scenario, right?
Yeah, I got started, my dad, he always played in bluegrass gospel bands around East Kentucky, and he would cross over into Virginia, into Wise, and I got started going with him when I was probably 5 or 6. And
yeah, that's early.
Just seeing him being able to connect with an audience on stage, even in a church house setting,
right?
That's one of the most intimate and powerful settings you can be in as far as a musician.
Oh yeah.
And so seeing that led me to get an interest in wanting to play guitar and learn how to sing and all that stuff. So I started playing when I was 10, and I tell everybody he showed me 3 chords, and that was about it. He showed me everything he knew. Right. And then I started, just expanding from there.
You're like, appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. Remind me of Martin.
Right. Well, the first time I'd heard about you when I'm much older, so I'd heard about you through just your dad's friends or whatever. And I think the first time I ever met you, I got you to come and record some mandolin. Do you remember that?
I do remember
that. A long time ago.
The studio was in a building over toward Virgin.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I was recording just a song that we wanted some mandolin on it. And you came over at no license. Your dad brought you over.
And Tony, that was the first studio gig that I ever had. Outside of Dad's studio.
Right.
We had a studio up there, and in Eastern, and I done a lot of work there. But as far as somebody actually calling and saying, "Hey, we need some," that was my first hired gig.
Well, I feel honored then that I gave you, and it was great. I remember you just knocking it out. It was actually a little too easy. You came in and played some mandolin parts, and I was like, "Yep, that's it."
It wasn't Chris Thiele.
Well, so you're here in Floyd County because of the show this weekend, but you've actually moved to Nashville, right?
Yep.
Or outside? Is it in Nashville? Outside Nashville?
It's just outside of Nashville.
Just outside. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah.
Nashville proper.
That's where you stay when you work in Nashville. Well, how long have you been in Nashville?
I've been in Nashville for going on 5 years. And
wow.
That's hard to believe for me. And it just flew by.
Oh, I would say.
And I actually just moved down to pursue guitar playing.
Right.
I was always interested in the studio setting, as far as like session players, how they go in and work and operate. And I got plugged in. Corey Cottle helped me get some session work down there. But aside from that, when I started living in Nashville, I started writing with all the professional songwriters.
Right, as it happens, you kind of get drawn into that.
You do, and it was quite the experience, and because I'd always dabbled with songwriting.
Right.
Every band that I ever had, I tried to write what I thought were good songs.
Yeah.
And play them. So when I started working with those guys that have done it for 20, 30 years,
right.
I mean, it was just an eye-opening experience that, man.
Yeah. And, it's a craft. People take it for granted. It is something that, for one, it's like a muscle, too. I mean, you can learn how to write songs better.
Yeah.
And I'm a horrible songwriter. I mean, I really am. I don't go deep at all. I'm lost on metaphors. It's horrible. And I see some people craft these songs, these stories, and put it together in a song, and you can just see everything about it.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that you're down there digging in and doing that stuff.
Yeah, it's a bug.
Yeah.
It bites you, man.
Oh yeah. But, always looking for that hook, right? Yeah. Always looking for that one twist.
I'm not so much hook oriented. I am story and and just making sure everything is tight and right.
I'm envious because it is. I cannot do it. I struggle. I can arrange music and come up with songs and play anything someone wants me to play, but man, those lyrics just escape me. Yes. So I need to. I've talked to a few people around here, and away from here, Nashville specifically, it's super common. You collab with everybody. Yeah. That's the thing. And around here, I would like to do that around here. Grab some people that I really love their songwriting and say, hey, come to the studio and
see what happens.
Help me.
Right.
Let me pick your brain.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's how it happened with me. Because I didn't know the first thing about writing a lyric, really, when I moved there. But I was always good at making melodic hooks and the chord structures and everything. And they would just say, man, play something. And so I would just sit there and play something. Right. And sooner or later we'd have a song, But then you start diving into it and you're like, well, I've got things I want to say.
Right.
So why can't I say them,
Yeah.
So you start doing that, and it's just a growing process, really.
Yeah, and it's definitely a craft, and I could imagine being down there and seeing how these guys do it. I mean, that's really just getting in there in the know, and seeing how those things are put together.
Dirty.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to be able to take criticism, I'm sure, when you throw a line out, because it's very personal. As most songwriters do, you write something, and it's a personal, that paragraph or whatever, it's like your baby, and for somebody to just dog it, right on just out of the gate, like garbage, throw it,
Well, yeah, but you know what? Like a lot of those guys, they're writing for a particular reason,
right?
So what I'd say about that is, whoever your audience is,
right?
You can write to them.
Yeah.
So they're writing for top 40, so be it. Maybe the line that you had didn't fit top 40.
That's true. That's true.
So maybe it fits your audience. So just roll with it,
That's good. That's good advice, because there's probably an audience for whatever you're writing. Yeah. You just need to make sure you go to that audience with the song. Yeah. Well, that's good. How has it been like adapting? We're from Pike County, Floyd County, small town. Yeah. How was it transitioning into the Nashville life, the Nashville scene, that whole thing?
Well, it's it's an ever growing thing. Yeah. I feel like I tell people this all the time, especially dealing with people from metro areas that are of my generation.
Right.
I see it more, but the fact that around here we kind of live to survive,
right?
In a sense, and entertainment always comes at a later time.
Yeah,
we're work people first.
Yeah.
Workhorses, and then we entertain ourselves when we have spare time. Well, in cities, it's almost reversed, especially for kids that have grown up, in a suburb or something where mom and dad have an awesome job and they come in. And not to knock it, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, there's almost like a language barrier, like a cultural divide between something that I want to work on and something that they're going to want to work on, because they're very recreational oriented.
Right.
And so
we might perceive that as frivolous sometimes.
Exactly,
you got to work, and then if there's time left.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I never thought about that transition, that kind of getting used to that.
Yeah.
That's been interesting. So was it, and it was for me when I was down there. I mean, there's a lot of parts that's just culture shock.
Yeah.
And then there's some things that you're like, it's no big deal. I got this.
Well, we made the decision to live on the outskirts of Nashville in Hendersonville,
Right.
which is still, it's blowing up now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, there are 500 people a day moving there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and we just bought a house last year, so real estate.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
But, to that, like, we've kind of avoided a lot of that, city night type thing. I enjoy going and doing it when I need to.
Right.
It's not like I want to go be a bar fly every night.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of people who that's what they do, and that's how they network, and it's a great networking tool.
Right.
If you like to do it.
But luckily, you've learned to survive without having to be in those trenches per se. I mean, having to do that kind of thing.
Right.
And I watch I see you working on your, as an artist, I see you doing, you're out doing songwriting sessions, you're doing, photography stuff, you're doing, getting those 8x10s ready, and all that stuff. But, hey, with Facebook nowadays, you're posting it up and we can stay current. It's pretty cool. Cause, I love it because I'm like, hey, there's that guy that played mandolin when he was 8 or 10 or whatever.
First paying section, I don't even know if I got paid. I didn't care.
Yeah.
So,
well, I gave your dad some money. Maybe he didn't give you. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. That's good. So you're here this weekend to you've got a show. Is this your debut CD? Is this? I mean, you seem to be always recording and having releases, so I didn't know if this was like.
Just we're just doing. This is the first show I've done as a headliner.
Right.
At
Yeah.
Mac.
Yeah.
And we've threatened it for a long time.
Right.
And I just didn't feel like we had quite as much stuff in line.
Right.
To make it. To make it count,
Right, yeah. That makes sense. You don't just want to jump in and.
Well, no, it's a 1,200 seat venue.
Right.
So it's like it's kind of intimidating actually
because
it's like, man, I got to put some butts in these seats. Like, how does this work? But I'm so I grew up playing at the Mountain Arts Center, and it was always like the ticket.
Yeah.
I told Joe Campbell. I think you had him on the show. I told him a couple weeks back, I was like, man, for me growing up, like a lot of my first taste of the music business came from the Mountain Arts Center.
Right.
Because you got to go down there and you got to see how production, how a live performance
something
put together.
It's developed, a show from beginning to end.
Right.
With the Opry especially.
And the year with the Opry and working with James Whited down there, that's like trial by fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you never want the stink eye from James, and he won't give them out. You get like
so that banjo ain't in tune, right, and you know how hard it is to tune a banjo.
Yes. Well, that's good though. I mean, we brag on the Mountain Arts Center a lot, and it's there's popularity can go up and down. It's kind of like I mentioned with Joe. Sometimes you see that poster on the wall and you see it every day, and then so you don't see it no more. Right. And the Mac's been around so long, it's kind of like you forget about it. But with Clayton and Joe kind of moving in and having that energy, that new energy, it's really been taken off. And I love how they are working with local people and people that are doing what you're doing and offering that the theater, so you can do that.
Right.
I love it. I mean, you being there as a headliner. I mean, the facility is great. The staff is great. PA. I mean, it's going to be a really good show.
I think so.
Yeah. Speaking of that, who you got playing?
Oh, I got a couple of.
You just never know.
Folks,
Yeah.
I call them local, but shoot, they've been out playing with everybody.
Right.
Clark Sexton, he's going to be on the kit.
Yeah, another local that moved. He's down there hustling and playing, and he just had a new release.
He did, a couple, 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He released his first EP, and then I got Cody Branham playing the bass.
Oh, Cody.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We're rocking the power trio.
Oh, well, that'll be super cool.
Work for Cream.
Exactly. That's awesome. Yeah, so Clark, bass player extraordinaire and drummer, so that's really good. And
He often likes to discount his drumming abilities, but my God, he's a freak.
Yeah, he's a great drummer. A great, solid click track. No big deal. He can play. Yeah. Well, that's going to be a great setup. That's going to be really good. Yeah. I guess have you been doing a lot of rehearsing with these guys, or?
No, we're actually rehearsing this evening.
Well, with those kind of guys, you can get together and do this.
And we've played.
Yeah.
That's the cool and everybody that I've used in the past 5 years have always been products of East Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because we're comfortable with each other. We grew up playing in the same clubs and the same places and most of the time with each other. So we know each other's habits and
you get it, right?
Yeah,
if there's a comfort level that is there, that's true. That is going to be good. So when is it Friday or Saturday?
Friday night.
Friday night at 7:30. Is there an opener or anybody
Tyler
going?
Booth.
Oh, well, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Tyler is staying busy right now doing his thing.
He's killing it.
Got that voice.
Yeah. Jamie Johnson.
Yeah. I know. I wasn't going to say that. I didn't know if he liked that or not. He has to.
He loves.
He has to know it, right?
Yeah.
He's definitely got that. Well, I'm looking forward to that. You're here actually because we did some work together with some CDs and that kind of thing. And I haven't. By the way, I kept one of the CDs, so.
I'll invoice.
I was going to say, but tell me about the CD just a little bit. I mean, the songwriting on it. Was there any collaboration stuff? Is it all you or?
Well. With this CD, it's basically it's a compilation of works that I've mastered over the past 5 years.
That's awesome.
Half of it is stuff that I worked with Corey Cotnell on when I first moved to town, and a lot of it I wrote by myself. A couple of them were with Kent Blasey, which is a veteran songwriter.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And the other two were my releases that I put up on Spotify and iTunes and all that. I released it digitally first, and then decided to do this. This is a one-time thing for the show.
That's awesome.
So what a treat for everybody. Here's a CD.
Right.
But
well, you got to have. You got to have products.
You got to have merch. Got to get out of town somehow. The gas tank don't fill up itself.
Exactly.
But and then a couple songs were not originals. One of them was Paradise by John Prine.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which me and Corey, so we started working on this EP way back in the day, like 3 years ago, back in the day. But we were going to release it as the debut thing with help from a couple managers and people in Nashville. Well, that fell through. So
as can happen.
It's a common thing in Nashville. So we decided to just release all original stuff.
Right.
So I started listening to them a couple weeks back, and I was like, man, everybody needs to hear this.
Right, it holds up.
Yeah. So I decided to throw those on there too. That and Tina at the Teardrop Inn.
Hey man, yeah. So, well, that's cool. I love that it's kind of a snapshot of the last few years of what you're doing, how you've grown, or how your songwriting's changed, that kind of thing.
Yep.
That's really good. And then to do Prine and do some covers like that, that's some classy stuff. Anyway, so you're going to be doing probably a lot of what the CD is. You're going to be doing some of that live.
Going to be at the show Friday. It's going to be very original, heavy.
Awesome.
We're actually going to break right in the middle of it and do a bluegrass set.
Oh, well, I would assume around here people know, but you got the bluegrass chops too. That's phenomenal.
That's where I started. Really.
Yeah, that flat picking is mean.
Well,
that's going to be good.
That'll be fun, and then there might be some other surprise covers.
Oh, I love it. Well, everybody's going to have to just show up.
You just have to show up and find out.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool. Well, Josh, I appreciate you coming down, and it's been fun to see what you're doing. I'm going to try to be down there this weekend. I'll be in the shadows somewhere, yelling something out. Yeah. But I appreciate you. But next time you're in town, for sure, drop by and let us know what's going on and all that. And everybody needs to come out this Saturday. Right? Saturday.
Friday.
Man,
you're trying to mislead these people.
I know. Everybody needs to come out this Friday at the Mountain Arts Center. I'm sure there's a few tickets available. You can find some, right?
Yeah, I'll make something happen.
All right. Well, cool. Appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Tony.
All righty. And cut. That's it, man.